All right, so let's take a look at the latest version of the DbChat Pro app. This app allows you to communicate with a SQL database using natural language through an AI service. No SQL skills are required to use this at all. So when we first launch the app, we'll get this greeting. It'll say, you haven't added any database connections yet. And it'll give us a link to add a connection to start exploring our database. And of course, we can also access that over on the left nav. So let's jump over there. So on this page, we get sort of a workflow or wizard that walks us through the process of connecting a database. So it says, provide a connection string to connect. This will enable the app to extract the schema and provide the AI with proper context to build queries. And this is really important. You see, with this app, the AI does not have access to your data. The AI simply understands the structural schema of your database and converts our natural language into queries that are run against your data. So there's no security risk here with the AI accessing your database. You don't have to ingest all of that into an index for the AI or anything like that. So let's take a closer look at how this works. So I have a couple databases on my local machine running on SQL Server. So if we were to enter in a name here, I'll just call this AdventureWorks. So that's one of the sample databases I have on my machine. And I'll paste in the connection string here and let's say generate schema. So it says the schema search discovered the following tables, and we can click on these tables to see the individual columns. So this database just has some product and category and customer information and orders, things like that. But again, we're just generating this schema to provide to the AI service. We're not handing over any of the data itself. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and that's going to clear out our form and our list. But over on the right here, we now have an existing connection. And let's add a second connection as well, since we'll look at some cool features when you have multiple databases. So I'll call this worldwide importers and put in a second connection string, generate that schema. This database has far more tables, but again, we just care about this structural schema. So we'll save that connection as well. And now we've got two over on the right. So now on our homepage, you can see there's all kinds of stuff going on. And right now I'm kind of zoomed in here for this video, but this would be what the formatting normally looks like. But let's stay zoomed in so we can see what's going on here. So most importantly, in the middle, we have this data explorer, and this allows us to just type in a natural language query to pull data from our database. And over on the right, we can see those database connections that we created earlier. So I'm just going to make sure that I'm hooked up to the AdventureWorks database, and we can see that sure enough we are. And there's the schema that we extracted earlier. So if you want to use this for reference and see what columns and types of data are available, that can be helpful when you're building out the different questions you want to ask. So for example, if I just say, get a list of all the products, and I'll hit submit, and it's going to run async in the background. It says it's going out to the AI service to generate our query, and there's our list of products, sure enough. Now it's also going to tell us the AI generated summary. So this is the AI's understanding of our request. So it's going to return the first 100 rows from the product table and include all the columns. I have this configured to never return more than 100 rows right now just for testing to make it snappy, but this limit can of course be removed. And what's really interesting is that this also includes the AI generated query. So it gives us the SQL that the user would have had to write. And we can do all kinds of stuff here. So we could say order by color. So we'll see what this gives us. You can see there's black, red, different types of products. Oh, but it looks like some don't have a color. So in that case, we can say exclude items without a color. So this is very flexible. The AI, we're getting our query, it's going to understand what we're asking for. And notice that all of those empty colors are now gone, and we're starting with black since that starts with a B. And over on the left, these queries are starting to pop into our history. So if I were to click on get a list of all the products again, it's going to bring back our initial query that had all of our different colors, and that history will just keep building as you search for your data. Now, what's also interesting is if I were to switch over to Worldwide Importers database, that history goes away because the history is associated with a specific database. So in this case, this database has a lot of tables, but there's a city table here. So let's just say list all of the cities or something, and click submit. And it's going out to our AI to get that query again. And of course, those come back right away, and we're starting to get our history. But if we toggle back to AdventureWorks, then all of our context and history loads in for that as well. So you can kind of hop between your different database connections and create all kinds of queries. Now, I also want to point out that you can go back to your connections, and if you no longer want these databases here, you can just delete them. So I'll get rid of those. It'll say no queries yet. And then back on our dashboard, we're right where we started. So this is very lightweight. It's managing connections to your databases and talking to AI and running queries, but that relationship between all these different pieces is very fluid and easy to use. Hope you enjoyed this demo, and thanks so much for watching.